Welcome back, everybody. We are at AXPONA 2026, and I'm Jiles with the listening chair. Now, we find ourselves in room 694 with Amphion and ANSI.
Yes.
Yeah, I got it right, ANSI. So let's start off to let people know what's going on here first by telling people a little bit about yourself. So who are you and what do you do for this wonderful company?
Well, I'm one of these people in the industry who spoiled a great hobby and make it into a meager living. So,
Sure.
It's a passion. It's been a passion thing. I've been an audiophile since I was 14 years old, and of course now I've kind of gone the full track because Amphion is not only, even if we started from the hi-fi side, most of our turnover actually comes from the studio side nowadays.
Sure.
So I've kind of gone the whole track all around that. I mean, grew up admiring and loving some of these records that these people do, and now they're actually customers. And
That's awesome.
I can maybe pitch in a little bit by our gear so that they can make even more emotionally evolving music. So it's cool.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Now, for people that aren't familiar with the brand, where is Amphion located, and what do you guys do?
We are in Kuopio, Finland, which is middle of the Lake District in Finland. So so a lot of nature, because I believe in a lot of us. I believe that many of us are products of our environment.
Absolutely.
So of course, and I think that's also reflected in our sonic ideals.
Oh,
so
great,
very pure, very natural, very kind of involving and relaxing and stuff like that.
Now they tell me that the best place to listen to the speakers is in Finland. So anyone out there, I suggest that you take a trip and go listen to them.
Well, I mean, we had this red carpet for a long time, but nobody still comes. So I'm here to give you a glimpse, and
awesome.
You can get a little bit of that nature
That's
with
cool.
the product.
So,
but yes, we are established in 1998. So So we've been doing this for a while.
A while.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. And as I said, situated in Finland, and everything is handmade in our own factory there. So
that's awesome.
So,
so let's talk a little bit about. We'll talk about these speakers specifically, but maybe kind of a higher picture of kind of the different product ranges that you have and the new things that are going on that will be important for people to understand.
Sure. But we could actually maybe start with the philosophy, because I think that's a little bit different what we do. I mean, we never saw us as a hi-fi company.
Okay.
I see that our job is to kind of open a large clean window into music, and it's of course equally valid if you're listening to music or if you're actually making it.
Right.
And I think that of course has been my goal since I was that 14-year-old little boy.
I think at 14 you were probably here.
Well, could be. I'm talking mentally. But I always wanted to hear what the mastering engineer hears, because that to me is kind of where the recording is locked and decided how it's going to be. And of course now we have a lot of mastering engineers using our products, and of course the nice thing is that whenever you develop products, you need a benchmark. You need to know what you aim for, and in our case, it is really having access to these rooms where a lot of these top recordings are made, so I can kind of make a note of that, and then go to the hotel room or any other room, and then kind of try to get it as close as possible.
Try to reproduce that, right? So you have a benchmark that you're shooting for. You have a mental picture of.
And one big thing how we do that, and that's of course beneficial for everybody using our products, is that we need to have a product that actually works in a predictable manner in all kinds of acoustic spaces.
Okay, right.
So we control our dispersions and make sure that off-axis responses are also correct, because we're never listening only to the direct sound, which everybody's very focused about. We also
rooms have walls.
Rooms have walls, and they I mean, and one of the nicest things, one of the customers said that what I like about Amphion is it seems like they treat their room as a friend, not as an enemy
to conquer.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Right. And work with the room.
Yes, and this is very much I guess the Finnish philosophy, because we never run over anybody. It's always kind of, hey, how can we make this work?
Right. Oh, that's great, and I think that would really apply out to a broad customer base, because everyone doesn't have the same room, so you can't design the speaker for one specific application, right?
No,
you need to design it so that it can work.
And they need to work close to the boundaries, because it's very rare that you have a dedicated listening room and you can have them in the middle of the living floor, room floor.
Right, there's no perfect placement, right?
No, and I guess Amphion, in that sense, we are different, because in Finland we were one of the first countries in the world to give women the voting rights. So we've had 100+ years to learn who the real boss around the house is. So we know that the speakers will be placed relatively close to the wall, so that the room remains livable and
functional.
Yes,
right.
and we always like to remember that even if it's very male dominant, this industry, these have a possibility of actually providing enjoyment for the whole family.
Absolutely.
Ladies, it can be watching TV, listening to background music. Youngsters having
hopefully
a great
not poking your tweeters out.
gaming experience, whatever.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, and there's another aspect to it as well. It's just the aesthetics of the speaker too, right? So you want a beautiful look, and this feels to me like a very finished speaker, if that makes sense. Right?
Yes, I mean, another philosophical thing is that I think when you talk to a normal person, the best sound is the sound you can't hear. I mean, you can't see.
Right.
But unfortunately, none of us can change the laws of physics. So in order for the speakers to work, they need to be kind of in the main real estate in the room. And the way to actually squeeze them in there or find a place for them is to make them part of the interior.
That's absolutely correct. Yeah, I like that. So let's talk a little bit about the models, the different lines that you have, and maybe some of the technology, and then we'll get into what's actually in the room here today.
Okay.
Great.
Okay.
So,
what's been, I would say, the most exciting thing about the latest shows now is that we have the reference product Krypton 3X.
Okay. And that's your top of the line?
That's the top of the line, retails for 30,000 euros, US dollars. I always felt that we could make it better, and we took a long time in developing a new tweeter for that.
Okay.
Of course, that tweeter was developed for a certain price point, so it was super. I mean, we kind of didn't need to compromise on anything.
Right.
We liked it very much, and then of course, me being me, my heart has never been in the kind of the expensive stuff. It's always in this kind of
where the realistic equipment,
where the music lover can actually kind of enjoy and own it without taking a second mortgage on the house. And we started thinking a couple of years ago that is there a way that we can get this super good but unfortunately quite expensive tweeter to the price point that we initially didn't.
That was unachievable, at the beginning.
And now it is there, and these Argon X's are actually, in US they retail for between 5,000 to 10,000 a pair.
Okay.
And it's been really, really nice to see people's reactions. I mean, the tweeter is, of course, it's very linear, obviously, has ultra low distortion, which, especially in our case where we're using the waveguide, helps a lot, and then also extends to 50Ks.
Oh wow!
Which is kind of interesting.
So your dogs can also enjoy.
Or your bats or whatever you have around the house.
Yeah. The bats probably go crazy, like, we can't see anymore.
Interestingly, of course, there's a lot of none of us can hear there, but there's a lot of harmonic information and stuff like that that actually. It does make quite a good difference.
And on the low end, the same kind of stuff. There's material all around that's not audible, but it creates a environment, right?
There is an ambiance, and that is one of the things I noticed when I walk around some of the rooms here. It's when you kind of walk in here, it's a little different world.
That's
to most of the rooms what I've had here. And that's part of it. Of course, we load the room very evenly. The energy transfer is very natural, and there is this certain immersive well-being all over the space. So
great. Yeah. So let's take a look at the speakers you have here specifically and talk through those.
Yeah. So in this room we're using the Argon7LX. Retails for 10Ks a pair, and there are a few things that are a little bit unique about our products. First of all, of course, nowadays other people are using the waveguides as well. We were probably one of the first ones that put it in the map. we cross over at 1600 hertz, which actually means that at that point the length of the sound wave is actually longer than the distance between the center points of the drivers. So actually this driver combination is acting in a point source manner, even if it doesn't look like that. Also, we time align the voice coils, so of course it's time and phase coherent without any electrical compensations, because we are big believers that whatever we can achieve acoustically, we don't have to try to fix electrically. And I'm a big believer in keeping the signal path as simple and short as possible, because this is the best way of getting the dynamics and all these kind of little energy pressure changes to come through in their all glory. And I think this is one of the reasons why also the people who actually make our music like them, because they can really not only hear anything but also feel everything. And I think that's, at least to me, that's one of the reasons why I'm involved in this stuff. It's not really about how does it, or what do you hear, it's about how does it make you feel. And that's kind of the most important aspect of listening to music, because our lives are very stressful and busy nowadays, and I think we need to find healthy ways to relax also, not only chemically induced ways. Another thing very, very different of Amphion, or very particular about Amphion, is that we have a very clear phantom center. It means that when you are using a stereo system, you have depth information, you have very, very precise three-dimensional information, even out of two speakers. And I think it's actually important. One of the things I noticed that this show, it's surprisingly often that people sit on the side. So my advice to the showgoer or anybody who will be testing speakers, please sit in the center seat if it's available, because this is by far the best experience you're gonna get. And if you have the speakers at home, we have to remember that the ideal is kind of unilateral triangle. That's what you're trying to aim. So what it means that basically your listening distance should be the same distance from the center of the speakers that they're with is, because then you are actually in at least that should be the starting point if possible, because that's how the studios do it, and I think we should learn a little bit from that on the home side as well. Another thing about these, you can probably see that with the camera now, that we're using passive radiators, because the reflex ports have a problem. They are, of course, the cheapest way of making more bass out of the box, but they also have a lot of inherent problems. You can never control them. There's always a tail following the initial signal, and that's why initially the technology was developed for the pro guys, because of course they need to know what information they are working on. Are they so-called chasing the tail, or do they actually know or adjust the real information? It's equally valid and good for the home environment, because it loads the room without having any funny things what reflex always does, and also because we actually have the box closed, so there won't be any uncontrolled turbulences or pressure changes inside the box. Because one of the things we have to remember, that in order for these drivers to do their job optimally, they also need to be able to go back uninterrupted, not only to the front. And the most interesting thing about the passives, when we started playing with them, of course I kind of expected that, okay, it's probably going to be improvements on the bass definition and speed, tonality, these kind of things. But it really cleaned up the mid-range quite a bit, which was a nice thing in our case as well. And that together with the waveguide technology, of course, that kind of means that it's really uniform, and the drivers are well integrated throughout the very wide frequency band.
That sounds awesome. And you know, the speakers, I had a chance to listen to them earlier, and they sound awesome too. Now, if people out there can't make it to the show, where can they hear these speakers at? Are they at their local dealer? How do they find them?
Yes, Playback Distribution is our partner here in the US. So go to their homepage and check what the dealer list, and then if there's nothing in your environment, contact them anyway. I'm sure they'll
want something there eventually,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Yeah. Great. So I'll have links down below for both the company website and playback distribution, so folks can take a look down there, click on those links, and then find where you can also hear these yourself. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you
For the talk today. Really appreciate it. Everybody out there, I appreciate you as well. Remember, like, subscribe, ring the bell, do all those things. Check out thelisteningchair.net. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video.
Thank you.